Well, our thing is how we work and how we operate. It must make business sense on our side.
Let me get to you, because I understand that you have retired, you're 50-0, you walked away from the game, you made a lot of money, but you did make news sometime last year when people were talking about you returning. Now you're 43 years old, okay? I want to know where your head is at as it pertains to you.
Well, whatever reason it is that they want to see you, that reason is why you money. It's not that you just deserve the money, because it's hard to do.
Right.
I have never encountered an athlete who, number one, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number two, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much.
Floyd Mayweather was once considered untouchable and the greatest ever, with a perfect record of 50 wins and no losses, earning billions and building a brand on absolute perfection. However, today his empire appears to be crumbling with a series of tax scandals, unpaid fighters and questionable cryptocurrency schemes, along with a recent $42 million Manhattan real estate deal that may not be real, and he now seems more like a man pursuing illusions than the undefeated boxing legend. While his coming fight with Mike Tyson seems less like a standard exhibition and more like a frantic final attempt to secure millions before his career ends, and earlier this year he made news by announcing what he claimed was the largest deal of his life, not a bout or a sponsorship, but a $42 million property acquisition in Manhattan involving 62 apartment buildings with rent-controlled units, the entire package, as he boasted of being a true mogul beyond just boxing.
A kid that came from poverty. I can remember being a kid living in Jersey with my mother. 7 of us living in a 1-bedroom. You know, no lights, no heat. Never cried, never complained. Just worked hard.
But there is a major issue, because property records indicate no transaction ever occurred, and Business Insider confirmed that none of the buildings Floyd said he bought are registered under his name, while the non-profit organization linked to the properties, the NYC Housing Partnership, stated they have not even been informed of a potential sale.
That never got hit. Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times, ever.
Yeah. When he fought Diego Chico Corrales, which was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like there was nothing for Diego to hit, and all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop, left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat.
That was the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather. Was before he became Money Mayweather.
He reinvented himself.
Even more concerning, Mayweather's own team could not maintain a consistent account of the story, as when asked for evidence, his real estate firm introduced a man claiming to be James McNair, one of Floyd's long-term associates, but his voice did not match McNair's real voice, which is highly suspicious.
So when he was younger, they called him Pretty Boy Floyd. Yeah. And then he changed his name to Money. And when he changed his name to Money, he turns heel. Yeah. He became like this guy, and everybody wanted to see him get beat. Yeah. And he's the most unhittable guy in the history of the sport.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's interesting when fighters figure out ways to do that too, like what Floyd is doing. What Floyd is doing is so interesting. He retires from fighting, and he says, I'll just start boxing people have no chance.
Hey, why? The entire situation appears to be a deceptive illusion, as it raises the question of whether this deal was genuine or simply another public relations effort by Mayweather to project a wealth he may not truly possess. And regardless of the answer, it is a very damaging appearance for a man who built his personal brand on immense affluence, and his luster is clearly diminishing.
Why? Early in his career, Floyd partnered with a fight promoter where he was making $3 million a fight, but he wasn't satisfied. He thought he could make way more with pay-per-view and wanted out of his contract. So he bet on himself and paid his manager $750,000 to get out. And you won't believe what happened next, so drop a follow. This would prove to be a huge win for Floyd, and after going independent, he made nearly $1 billion and became the—
This is not the first instance where Floyd's financial situation has been under scrutiny, as there was the earlier IRS issue in 2017 just before his match with Conor McGregor, when he pleaded with the government for extra time to settle his tax debt, which was striking for a man who constantly displays bundles of cash on social media yet could not cover his own obligations.
We have never had an argument in our life, me and him. Then we had an argument on what was the name of it? HBO. It was on HBO. Then another time we argued over by the car. I'm saying, man, what is all this about now? I'm just saying, you know, and we never had no argument. All of a sudden, it is or it ain't. Sometimes, you know, hey, when people get, it ain't about me training or anything like that. People's getting money, man. Things change. I don't care whether it's your father, mother, whoever. Father, mother, brother, sister, name it. You know, if
This was not an isolated incident, as Floyd has faced multiple tax liens over the years, each following a familiar pattern of lavish spending, dubious financial management, and a rush to secure fast money, and this is precisely why many view this Tyson fight with skepticism, questioning whether Floyd is competing for enjoyment or because he requires another large payment. And we should also recall the Logan Paul situation from 2021, where their exhibition match was more about showmanship than competition, yet the significant controversy emerged afterward when Logan Paul stated he never received his full payment.
How do you feel about
awesome
Floyd?
Fighter, great fighter. You know, he's a little too into himself. You know, he should be. I was the same way too, but you have to come to reality some way. You have to bring your head down to God. We're nothing to be fucking arrogant. You expect us to be ignorant and arrogant. Look where we came from.
That's why I asked the question earlier about you mentoring fighters, because I feel like Floyd looked at you growing up like every other fighter. And the persona and the lifestyle was like, growing up in the hood, we looked at it like, that's Mike Tyson. We see the cars, the jewelry, the flair. Like you was a movie star. You was a hero.
I didn't see that.
For several months, Logan Paul spoke publicly about the issue, even threatening legal action, and he criticized Floyd on his podcast by demanding, "Floyd, you owe me money, so pay me what you owe."
When you gonna give me the money?
Because you had already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardless. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Why I gotta ask you for it?
Right.
And then when
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
He said something to me one time, very simple. He said, "What a prize fighter fight for?" And I'm like, and he said, "The prize." So it's okay for you to watch the fight. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose.
Right.
Because they don't like him. They don't like him because everything that he says is about money. There's nothing else. There's no values. There's no, like the people's champ, like Ali was standing for the same things.
Right.
The audience was standing for. He doesn't have any of that. It's just money. You know what I'm saying? And
consider that very idea as the self-proclaimed Money Mayweather, who boasts about receiving checks for hundreds of millions of dollars, either could not or chose not to pay a YouTuber who essentially provided him with one of the simplest and easiest professional bouts of his entire career.
I give her a couple dollars. I take some, whatever, whenever you need some money. You feel me? But when I was legit to be able to get out the hood, that's what I did.
Like, I had to learn that coming up that, like, a motherfucker will put you in a position to always need him. And, like, to the world, it might look like that's a great person. But, like, to somebody that understand, like, what Kendrick Lamar say? Nah, that's a master manipulator. Like, because if I gotta put you in a position that always need me, you always gotta, I'm gonna just give you crumbs. And we hear it a lot. Like, if I'm like, what's $1,000? You know what I'm trying to say? But to you who don't have it, is a lot, and I know you gonna go to war for that $1,000. So me understanding that $48 of plot power, I'ma always feed you a little bit so you can be excited and do just enough to come back around.
But I ain't really just put me in a position to be able to, make my own thing. And I don't want to say no name, but they wind up catching it. The people that's over top of me, I mean, like, I was signed to him, and Floyd signed to him. So the person that, he said, okay, cool. I see what's going on.
When you fail to compensate the fighters you face and you are publicly challenged by social media influencers, the celebrated reputation you built inside the ring begins to suffer serious damage outside of it.
Out of all these guys in the history of boxing,
yes,
I've accomplished more than every fighter in the history of boxing.
Okay, Ali.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Leon Spinks beat Muhammad Ali when he only had 7 fights.
Yes.
And if we really tell the truth, if we really tell the truth,
well, that's what you're here for. You're here to tell the truth.
What's the heavyweight guy that Ali fought 3 times? Ken Norton, actually.
Ken Norton.
Ken Norton really beat Ali all 3 times. Go back and look at the fights. I mean,
when you fail to compensate the fighters you face and you are publicly challenged by social media influencers, the celebrated reputation you built inside the ring begins to suffer serious damage outside of it.
Of my career, I have never encountered an athlete who, number 1, flaunts his wealth the way Floyd flaunts his wealth, and who, number 2, is so blindly full of himself to the fault of those who did pave the way. He did acknowledge that much, so I appreciate that much. But the way he just blithely scoffed at Ali's accomplishments, it wasn't just disrespectful, Stephen A. Smith. It was flat out blasphemous. Now, to your credit, you did go back at him. You can't, okay, and to Floyd's credit, you know what? Early in Ali's career, he did get dropped. Not by Bert Cooper, by Henry Cooper in London. He fought him twice in London. And he did get dropped, and he got right back.
Brash attitude and extravagant display of wealth, Floyd became the most disliked boxer in boxing history. His refusal to engage in drama, despite his behavior, only added to the animosity. He often spoke about how he didn't care about public opinion and that he would continue to fight, whether in exhibitions or traditional bouts. This indifference to the criticism he faced made him more divisive than ever, with many fans and commentators questioning his motivations.
They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And
my
like,
most expensive watch that I currently own is $18 million. One watch.
and so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes. Yeah, it creates envy, and you want him to lose, but he's not.
For an individual who is presumed to be financially astute, Floyd continually becomes entangled in convoluted monetary disputes, which leads directly to the upcoming major event Floyd Mayweather against Mike Tyson, scheduled for 2026.
What does it mean for you to go out on your terms, not on anybody else's terms, but you to make the decision, you know what, this is it, I don't care what all you guys say, I'm out of here, I'm done?
I mean, I think I think I just had a game plan. I had a brilliant game plan. The game plan was to be very outspoken. You know, I was born with personality. I was born with charisma. Speak my mind. Speak from the heart. You know, I don't hate or dislike anyone. I want to go out there, you know, and just do what I have to do inside that square circle. Choose a tremendous team on the outside.
Surface this matchup is historic, featuring 2 legendary icons, but if you look beyond the promotional excitement, it feels deeply desperate, as Tyson is nearly 60 years old and Floyd is close to 50, with neither having competed at an elite level for many years, yet the financial stakes are enormous, with Netflix deals, sponsorship, side agreements and merchandise ensuring it will generate millions of dollars, which is precisely why Floyd is participating, not to prove anything athletic or from a love of the sport, but because he requires another enormous payday to maintain his extravagant Mayweather lifestyle.
Percentage of the purse, isn't it?
Yeah, but he can still get the biggest percentage of the purse.
Yeah, but Ricky Hatton's gonna want more. He'll want more. He'll want more.
He'll want more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure when they fought in their heyday, Floyd got more.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know what I'm saying?
No, but Floyd wants like 95% more. 90% more. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
He's like 95-5. Yeah, that's how he likes to do it, innit? Because I'm not going to lie, if Floyd fought Ricky...
Holyfield is training Tyson, which shows Tyson is highly motivated while Floyd is focused on his business dealings, yet the fans are now questioning whether Floyd even truly desires this competition or if he is merely pursuing the large financial payout.
boxing issue versus
you don't ever
boxing
you
thing.
don't ever hear that coming out.
To this day,
you hear a guy
right
going,
now.
"Oh, I want to make $30 million. I didn't get paid enough." You don't ever hear guys going, "Yeah, they didn't pay me yet," ever.
Is that like a boxing issue?
Well, here's what happens when you go in and you do these fights, and you make them. And Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong. You do these fights that are exhibitions or whatever. The commission isn't overseeing it. So let's say I did a fight with Mike. I got Mike fighting, Francis or something. The athletic commission gets the money up front, so they pay the fighters. They don't have to wait for. That was the big problem in the past, is that these boxing promoters would come in and they wouldn't make as much money as they thought they were going to do, so they would stiff the fighters and not pay the guys.
The truth is that every recent action Floyd takes seems like a desperate attempt to maintain his position from the dubious property deal and the fighters he has not paid to the cryptocurrency schemes and his constant exhibition matches, as it is no longer about achieving sporting greatness but simply about financial survival. And he once controlled the entire boxing world, but now he is merely pursuing publicity by facing retired icons and internet personalities while making grand promises about billion-dollar agreements that are not real, and his untouchable image has completely vanished, and the public is now clearly seeing through the deceptive facade.
There was some drama going on about Floyd Mayweather being stuck in Dubai. However, that man was at Game 5 of the Clippers game. He's claiming that he is stuck in Dubai because there is debts that he has to pay off and they're not letting him leave. And we're sitting at Game 5 and I look over and I'm like, dude, that's Floyd Mayweather. Royce takes a video of Floyd Mayweather at the Clippers game, posts it on his TikTok. It goes viral. He posts 2 videos, both go viral. And the comments, nobody is believing him. They're like, that's not really Floyd. That's a clone. Floyd's stuck in Dubai. And the crazy thing was, usually when you're at these games, they'll have like, oh, special guest, celebrity of the night. They didn't show Floyd on the thing, but we have it on camera.
Social media has become a harsh space for Floyd, as when the Manhattan property story was revealed, fans ridiculed him for supposedly purchasing buildings that are not there, and Money Mayweather became a joke, while when Logan Paul alleged non-payment, the online community heavily criticized Floyd, labeling him as financially ruined and a fraud. And regarding the upcoming Tyson match, about half of the fans are expressing that they have no interest in watching. 2 older men simply seeking a final large payday.
What did you see when you watched that fight?
Look, Floyd needs to keep doing what he's doing, which is fighting complete tomato cans who we've never heard of before. I've never seen anybody in the history of America get so rich and so famous out of having complete wimps throwing punch at their faces. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, it's happened before. What about Rihanna? Shame on you, blasphemous. I will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. But, however, boxing has a misconception. Too soon?
Consider that for many years he was the absolute focal point of the boxing world, where every single action he took made headlines, yet today the sport has progressed beyond him, with fighters like Canelo Crawford and Tank Davis now being the dominant forces who truly control the boxing landscape.
As recently as this weekend, because he needed the money.
You think Floyd's fighting because he needs the money?
Yeah.
Really? Why? You think he blew through all of his money? Get the fuck.
Well, he blew through a lot of it, but I'm sharing for you, it wasn't what you thought it was.
He blew
to start
through
with.
it and wasn't making as much as
they're
says.
claiming he was doing $100 million a fight, and I'm claiming for you, he in his whole career has made about $100 million. There's a very
Wow. Floyd had this long career. I could imagine him making more than $100 million.
I understand that. Floyd was not Muhammad Ali, and Floyd wasn't Mike Tyson. I got it. I know people think he made 130 in a night. I'm sharing with you, he didn't, and no boxer has. No boxer's ever made 130 million in one night. This is silly. Floyd Mayweather has closed down a mall. He has rented out the entire mall, and he spent $15 million. The proof that this happened is Floyd in a mall and Floyd with a bag of cash that probably had about 100 grand in it. He says, man, I'm a VIP, I'm a VP, I'm a VVVVIP. Do you want to know why he was whispering, guys? He was whispering so that he didn't disrupt the employees and fellow shoppers at the mall. It's okay. This is a gimmick. Floyd did everything that Floyd is supposed to do. It's strange that a 50-year-old man would continue to do what he did when he was 28 years old. That's strange.
Eddie Hearn.
Perhaps Floyd is not only pursuing money but is also desperately seeking to remain significant, which could be an even more tragic situation, and there is always a possibility this Tyson fight could surprise everyone. And if Floyd manages to outmaneuver Tyson in the ring, or if the bout becomes thrilling, perhaps he will regain some public esteem, but that would only be fleeting, since everyone understands Tyson is almost 60 and this is not Floyd in his prime, and in the best scenario this fight secures him another moment of publicity, while the worst outcome is a disastrous finish. And if Tyson were to genuinely harm Floyd, his entire brand built on being 50-0 and untouchable would instantly collapse. So what truly defines Floyd Mayweather's lasting impact is that he still holds a perfect record of 50 wins with no defeats, remains one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time, and is still the individual who earned more money from boxing than anyone in history.
Somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000. Something like that, if that.
I believe so.
We've had some bad ones. But this is, I've seen a map, someone posted a map yesterday. I mean, I don't know anyone that even knows Floyd Mayweather is fighting on Saturday. Who is putting the money up for these events? Like, I think that the Mayweather fights are so f***ing naff, to be honest with you. But I don't actually mind, like, at least Aaron Chalmers will go out and he can box and he'll have a go and like whatever. But literally no one knows that is even happening. Someone has hired out the O2 Arena thinking they're going to sell out the O2 Arena with Floyd Mayweather and they are going to do a couple of 100,000.
Yet his reputation beyond boxing is becoming increasingly complicated due to tax issues, legal actions, questionable schemes, and fraudulent commercial agreements. Where his name was once synonymous with flawlessness, it is now frequently associated with scandal and dispute.
And that report is true. I'm just simply saying that if there were some validity to that, that's not really the end of the world. He ain't lying about having ownership. He just may have embellished the truth about having no partners. Also, you got people calling him broke, which is
That is precisely why many believe it could be over for Floyd Mayweather, not due to a sporting defeat but because he is losing the struggle for his reputation and esteem beyond the ring. So the essential question remains, is this truly the conclusion for Floyd Mayweather? Has his wealth turned into a disaster, or does he still possess one final strategic move with the Tyson bout? Share your opinions below. Do you consider Floyd to be financially ruined? Do you believe the Tyson fight will rescue his image or permanently end his career? Remember to like this video and subscribe to the Fight Field channel. I will see you in the next episode. Alright everyone, stay tuned for the latest in boxing news, highlights, events, and stories. Subscribe to Ring Headquarters and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Be sure to watch our other videos too. Until next time, take care and stay safe.